Hey gang, T-Bob here. I want to give you a quick tour of my rig. It's a 2018 Ranger Z521L Icon edition. I'll start up at the bow. I've got a 36 volt Minn Kota Ultrex trolling motor, dual consoles, and powered by a Mercury Pro XS 250. It's got twin 8-foot power pole blade shallow water anchors. You can see my YOLO Tech GoPro power mount in the back that runs off the boat power. It's on a Ranger Trail trailer, dual axle, brakes on all wheels. And I bought the boat at Frankie's Live Bait and Marine in Chisago City, Minnesota. They're a fabulous dealer, great people. Frankie and Deb, Todd George in the sales department. The service guys are great. They've taken great care of me. So taking a look at the bow of the boat, you can see the Ultrex for electronics. I've got a Lowrance Carbon HDS-12 bow flush mounted. In the front, you can see the recessed foot pedal for the Ultrex. There's a cup holder tool trays. I've also installed the foot pedal controls for the power poles. So if you're fishing and you want to drop them or raise them quick, you can just use your foot to push that down. The Ultrex has its own GPS antenna to really help hone in the spot lock. Really nice big deck area. Two different positions for a bike seat or a traditional seat up here. And then you can see port and starboard retractable rod straps as well. The front three storage compartments are all equipped to be rod holders. The port side has 10 tubes. This will take up to an 8-foot rod. I think I can probably get, 15 plus rods in there, as long as they're sub 8 feet. And then moving over to the starboard locker, it's a little bit shaded right now. This, no tubes in this one. It does have the handle holder in the back. And this will take up to a 7-foot rod, so for some of your shorter rods, it'll go there, and obviously you could just put general tackle in there as well. Now taking a look at the center rod storage, or kind of the large storage compartment in the front here. This will take 10 rods as well, up to a 9-foot rod in the top rack, 8.5 on the lower rack of 5. I've chosen to just kind of keep my tackle in here, so you can kind of see I've got my jigs, plugs, terminal tackle, soft plastics, kind of all in 5700 size Plano boxes. Kind of keep my collapsible net and a paddle in there as well. But I think that's the way I'm going to roll with this thing to begin with, and perhaps in musky season I may change the configuration where I've got some longer rods I may want to be able to store inside this rod rack. Moving behind those rod racks, there's another compartment on the starboard side. This is going to be just a general tackle storage box. I've got my throwable, some leader material, scent, miscellaneous stuff in there. And then the other two compartments here, one on the step, which is an insulated cooler. It's a little bit smaller size cooler, as well as the port side. There's a large cooler as well. I think I'm going to use this one as my day box and use the center step smaller box as food and beverage in general. But I can kind of roll either way when I want to go through that. The other thing you can see here on the step here from the cockpit forward, there's tool trays there for scissors, hemostats, pliers, hook sharpener, and then there's a slide out metal ruler to be able to measure your fish with as well. Behind that there's a net storage port that you can see, and then the speakers for the Infinity stereo system that are mounted right there. And then there's a seat post as well, so if you do have 3 anglers in the boat, you can pull the rear seat up and place it there for running. Now moving aft, you can see these compartments here. There's a port and starboard storage compartment. The rear one is the battery compartment, my oil reservoir, and then two different hatches for the live well, which I'll show you in a second. Also want to show you my YoloTech powered GoPro camera holder. You can put, virtually any mount on that, but this plugs into your anchor light and will actually power the GoPro through the main boat power sources. Pretty ingenious device, and I'm excited to try that out, and hopefully we'll get some good pictures of fish. So here's the battery compartment. You can see I've got a 4-bank 15 amp charger. I've got 4 class 31 AGM batteries, the starter, and then the 3 deep cycles for the trolling motor. It's got a large oil reservoir and also this switch over here, which allows me to run on the main starting battery. I can also jump start the boat if I get low on that battery with the off of the trolling motor batteries with that switch. So I don't have to bring jumper cables. I can jump right off of my existing trolling motor batteries as well. Here's the live well. Really a nice big live well. It's divided in 2 and has 2 separate hatches to get at it, but it's really a single live well. Pump out, recirc, oxygenator, really full function and great utility on the live well. Taking a look at the port storage hatch next to the live well in the rear here. This is where I'm going to keep my first aid, my tools, rope. I have a lithium battery jump start device, so if somebody's stuck, I'm stuck, I have some way to jump the boats to get it going. Also keep my GoPro gear in there. It's dry storage again. And on my starboard side is where I'm going to kind of keep my PFD, my binoculars, clothes, marine gear, kind of miscellaneous stuff. That's also where the fire extinguisher is, tucked up underneath that hatch as well. Now I'll give you a tour of the cockpit. Got to start with the coin box. Just a great place to keep your cell phone and your keys and some other miscellaneous stuff. This is a dual console boat, so it does have a glove box there. I've kind of got the remotes and sunglasses and some sunscreen and things like that in there. Also in the back is the stereo unit, the Infinity stereo, but I can actually run all that from the Lowrance on the dash, so I don't have to get in there to turn it on, etc. You can see that there's some running rod storage right there. There's a handle area and a strap, so folks can, co-angler can put their gear in there and have a place to keep their rod strapped while we're moving. And then over here on the driver's console, you can see the big HDS 16 carbon unit, the power pole switch I've got mounted on there. There's a new digital push panel to start the boat and run the the typical stuff in here, the power ventilation systems, running lights, etc., and live wells. I can actually also run all that from the Lowrance the way that this boat is rigged. I've got the Mercury Smart Gauge, I've got a water pressure indicator, analog gauge, analog speed, analog fuel, and then the switch for the jack plate and gauge to tell me where that's at as well. These new seats, they're larger than the traditional seats have been in the Z series, and they both adjust, so they'll both move forward and backward as well to get you in the most comfortable position you can. The steering wheel is specific to the Icon right there, and I've also got blinker switches you can see for both the jack plate as well as a redundant blinker switch for trimming the motor out. One other kind of neat thing here, the C-deck that they've put in here, this logo is, you can get the C-deck in any L boat, but The 50-year logo is specific to the Icon edition. Okay, now I'm going to show you a few things about this Lowrance HDS 16 Carbon and the way it's configured in this boat. It's pretty neat. I can run virtually everything here. It does have the latest software on it, so I can I'm in simulator right now. Obviously I'm sitting in my driveway, but I've got chart on the left. I've got you know, traditional chirp on the top, analog sonar, and then I've got the down scan with fish reveal on the bottom. And this is a new feature that just came out in the software release from Lowrance, and it's I think it's kind of a blend of analog and the down scan, and it really helps you make the down scan, I think, more valuable because you can really kind of see fish better, see the hooks better in here, and give you a better idea of what's going on below. Many videos on this, but I thought I would just show you a couple other things that is unique to this. They've got right now the through the NEMA 2000 network, this is integrated completely with my outboard, the stereo, etc. So first of all, if I go to this left hand side now, I'm actually in simulator mode, so I've got an alarm on here because I'm still in break-in here. I haven't even had this in the water yet, so that's what it's doing, but it's kind of simulating what I would be able to see from the outboard output directly on my Lowrance. And I also can kind of come in here. I can turn the stereo on as an example, so it's on right now. I've got it muted, but you can see I can turn it on and off through here as well, so I don't have to dig into that glove box to get at the stereo while the boat's running. Also, if you have autopilot stuff, you can put autopilots in. I don't have any autopilots on the boat, obviously, but apparently you can put one for both the trolling motor and the outboard here. I can deploy my power poles through this if I want to, and which is you know, separately or linked. I push that link button, and then they're going to deploy together that way. And obviously, I still have a digital another switch for it over here. I've got the one on the front, and I've got a remote for it as well. And then if I go to the Z icon up here, this allows me to basically turn everything else on in the boat that I can with the regular digital switching at the keypad, but that's also available through the Lowrance. So pretty neat the way this is set up. It gives you some redundancy through that as well. One other feature that I have on this boat is I do have the 3D sonar capability. So this is again in simulator mode, but it gives you another view of the bottom, and you can, you know, put this in alongside your traditional side scan, your structure scan, your down scan, your analog sonar, and it gives you a three-dimensional view of things. So if you're going across, you know, a drop-off on the edge of a weed line, you can see the structure. It'll also mark fish in that 3D structure as well. So I haven't really played with this much, but I'm excited to get out in the water and see what this really looks like. Well, that's the tour, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really excited to get out on the water with this boat. The ice should be out in a few days, and I'm looking forward to fishing some pre-spawn bass, and I hope to see you on the water. Tight lines.